Hello, it's 9:30. Welcome to the weather update. And this update, of course, the star of the show, of course, is Hurricane Henri. And we can see the clouds that came in. It was fairly gray overcast. Then in the evening, around 7 o'clock, we had it was more like 6:30. We had some really beautiful clouds coming in ahead of the storm, and as the first feeder bands came in, and I mean, quite breathtaking. You could see these were from thunderstorms and convection that was moving into our area, and then at around 7:30, this happened. We had just a spectacular, and I mean a spectacular sunset here. Absolutely incredible, and I was able to get this from the Broadway Commons parking garage. I was back in Hicksville again, but I'm glad I was sitting in the mall, and I'm like, wow, look at the colors in the sky, and I had to run outside and go to the top of the parking garage to grab this photo here, which is really just an incredible sky, and there was like a little bit of a shower. First showers moving in around 7:30, moving in a little earlier than I thought, and then I got off I had to wait out a shower, and then I got on the train at 8:28, getting to Mineola, and it's pouring rain, and I'm thinking it's letting up, and so I seek shelter under the Morgan Park, and it starts really pouring once again. And I still managed to get soaked because you could see here all the streets were just flooding, and the shoes and everything got all soaked and everything, which sucks. But yeah, you can see how heavy it was coming down. The first feeder bands arriving a little earlier than I thought. These are the very outer bands of Henri. And we're going to actually look at the radar right now, show you what's going on. So these are the very outer bands of Henri. You can see some showers and thunderstorms, some pretty heavy stuff moved through Nassau County. And then there's another cell around Oyster Bay. So these cells have some pretty heavy rain. They may not look it on the radar, but boy, did it come down. I'll tell you. Not a lot of lightning with them. Not a lot of lightning, mainly just rain. I didn't see any lightning, actually. No lightning at all. But boy, did it really pour when these showers were moving through. And it really came down for a good, I would say, 30 to 45 minutes. It was on and off, but it was heavy more than not. Pretty heavy rain. So let's get the latest on Hurricane Henri right now. And the latest public advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 8 p.m. And the good news is it's continuing to move east, so it's continuing its north-northeast track. Henri moving quickly to the north-northeast, a dangerous storm surge, hurricane conditions, and flooding and rainfall expected in portions of the northeastern United States, though this looks like becoming more of an issue for just the east end now. As of 8 p.m., its location, 37.4 north, 71.0 west, about 255 miles south of Montauk Point, about 290 miles east-northeast of Cape Hatteras. Maximum sustained wind 75 miles an hour. Moving north-northeast at 18 miles an hour. So you can see it's getting picked up. And it's moving at a good clip. You can see that trough's kind of like picking it up a little bit. And the minimum central pressure, 988 millibars, 29.18 inches. And the extent of hurricane force winds extend out up to 45 miles in the center, and the extent of tropical storm force winds extend out up to 150 miles from the center. And what I forgot to do in the last update, because again it's hard for me to remember everything, let's go to, don't tell me I don't have it up here. Did I forget to put that up here? I did forget to put it up here. Unbelievable. Hold on. I thought I had it up here and I didn't. Alright, I thought I had tropical tidbits up here. So here we go, Hurricane Henri. Let's go and take a look at the satellite, and here it is. We'll have two satellites to look at here, and you can see a nice little blow up of convection right there. Still over some warm water there, but it looks like now it looks to me, if you look at this satellite here, we'll draw here. Oh, nope. If you look at that satellite, you will see here. Look, why is this not drawing? Oh, maybe that's it. Why is it in gray? I don't know. This thing's having a mind of its own lately. All right, why is red not working? Red. I'm telling you, like I said, this thing has a mind of its own. There we go. Now I gotta clear it out and start over. All right. So if you look at where this is tracking here, it looks like it's tracking more toward Rhode Island and the Cape. So this area right here. and maybe the South Fork. But I think the worst part of this storm is now heading for Rhode Island and coastal Massachusetts. And this is what originally we were expecting, and then it took that westward jog. So on the models, but this is where it looks like it's heading right now. And again, you see that nice blow up of convection, so it's still a pretty strong hurricane. Let's look at the aircraft recon, which is what I forgot to do the last time. All right, so let's take a look at the latest aircraft recon of Henri. All right, and this is the latest one that we have right now. And you can see the strongest winds generally on the east side of the storm. So if most of Long Island is going to be experiencing the west part of the storm, even the east end, chances are it won't really be too bad. It's going to be mainly to the east of the center of those stronger winds. So it's interesting to look at these missions here and get the information from them, which I wanted to do the last time, but I kind of forgot. I do apologize for that. So we'll go back over here, and we're going to look at the latest models. And when you look at the models, you see all of them now, every single one, taking them east of Montauk Point. This is excellent news for Long Island. Even Montauk will not be in the northeast semicircle, which is the worst part of the storm. So there'll be some impacts in Montauk, but it won't even be that bad. We are getting a big break here on Long Island, and the original area that we were expecting this storm to hit, originally southern New England, that's where it's going. That is what is happening, it's a break for us, but unfortunately for southern New England, it's going to be very bad for them. But again, we had our Sandy; they didn't get their Sandy, so you know, I mean, I know our number will be up again, all right? But can we just I just want the reprieve. I'm sorry, so I'm happy about this. I can't help but be very happy about the fact that this thing is going well to the east of us. Let's go now to the models. I guess we'll go to the models next. I want to look at a little more imagery here. So this is, again, the satellite imagery of it, the non-enhanced satellite imagery of it. You can see again, there is Henri, well to the east. I wouldn't even say it's south of Montauk Point anymore. It's more southeast of Montauk Point to me. And it's continuing to move northeast. So it's not. It's going to go into New England. It's not going to hit us. Not the impacts of Long Island, most of Long Island, except for maybe east of Riverhead. There probably won't be too many bad impacts. Though the flooding rain, that could be an impact, all right? But as far as the wind goes, we may very well be. And it's moving a lot faster, too, than originally modeled, too. It's moving a lot faster. That's why we're getting the rain. You could see that moisture coming off Henri right here. We'll draw it again. It's getting pulled off of it, and then it's flung up into our area. So that's why we're seeing those cool cloud formations and had those heavy tropical showers this evening. Let's look at let's go and look at the Henri floater. This is the Henri floater here from the NOAA site, and it's very interesting. You can actually see a little smoke wrapped around it there, just a little bit. But you can see that it's clearly moving away from. It's not heading right for Long Island, and this is very good news to see this continuing to track toward the east. And you know, it's just a little disturbing because the models. It really shows that the models. We still have a lot to work with the models, but of all the models, the GFS was generally the most consistent. With not tracking it over New York City, all right, so I have to give the GFS just that is really a model that's been holding up pretty well. Speaking of models, let's go and look at them now. Well, before I actually get to that, I want to see how much rain has fallen so far. So I want to go and look at some observations here, and we're going to look at some. And you can see temperatures generally in the mid-70s here, and I want to look at the precipitation and see how much rain has fallen, because it looks like we have gotten a lot of rain so far already. Yeah, it really came down, and you could see here. Yeah, Mineola, I mean, it really poured. 1.16 in Williston Park, 1.44 in Garden City. So, yeah, over an inch of rain in that first band there. It really came down. It really did come down. And there was a lot of flooding as a result. 1.45 in Williston Park. So you can see all these rainfall amounts. 1.53 in Lake Success. This is all part of the tropical moisture that we're seeing from Henri. Also on the south shore, I see some high rain amounts too, 1.29 in Belmore. So definitely some high rain amounts. Now out east, I don't know if they've gotten those bands yet. No, they haven't. They haven't gotten them at all. But yeah, they hit western Suffolk and Nassau County, and pretty impressive. So if I go to the weather and hazards map, and I think this map has changed too a little bit, it looks like. If we look at the dew points, first of all, well into the 70s, right? Not a lot of wind out there so far. It's still easterly to northeasterly breeze. But let's throw the rainfall in. Precipitation here. We'll get some more information here on the rainfall that we got here, and we'll just move this to 6 o'clock. Yeah, you can see these numbers aren't quite as, you don't have as many numbers to look at, but you can see those higher. There's that 1.15 at Hofstra being reported. All right, airport didn't get as much. Farmingdale, I don't know where Farmingdale is, 0.23. They didn't get as much. All right. But again, where that band hit, boy, and it looks like it hit the city too, and they got a good amount of rain there too as well. It really did come down for a good while there with that band that came through. So pretty impressive to say the least. Let's go back to the latest station plot and let's see if we can get some buoy observations if we can offshore, and see if we can find any buoys that are near the storm, perhaps giving us any decent. I don't see anything here. But you can see dew point 78 with a dew point of 76. So it's really juiced up air. We got 7.2 foot wave heights. Let's look at this buoy here. We got a wave height of 5.6. That's not too bad. Nothing really looks all that bad over here. The strongest winds seem to be over here. I have a 27-mile-an-hour gust at this buoy. 82 with a dew point of 78. And yeah, that's a water temp's up at 82, so we're pretty far south though. Yeah, nothing really too impressive on these buoys at all. Nothing really too impressive. So let's get back to the models here, and we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at this. And we're going to be mainly focused on Henri in the next 24 to 48 hours. All right, so this is the GFS here, and you can see tracking it east. And it doesn't really, it just tracks east of Montauk Point. The one thing the GFS does, though, is bring a lot of rain to the east end. A lot of rain with this. So, and there will be some wind. And you can see, again, though, it's all confined to the eastern part. So, generally, if you're east of Route 112, that's where you're going to feel the impacts from Henri. If you're east of, let's say, Riverhead, that's where you're going to feel the more significant impacts from Henri. And that rain continues, and it'll eventually let up on Monday. But that is quite a bit of rain that would fall there, all right? And these storms are known to bring a lot of rain. And if we look right through Monday, we can look at the total accumulated precip, and you can see that swath there. You could see 5 inches of rain in Montauk. Now, you got to remember, a lot of the rain we've gotten, the East End hasn't gotten that much, the rain from those thunderstorms. The East End is actually a lot less, so they're going to be making up for it big time, again, according to the GFS. And the GFS may still be a little too much to the left. It may still be actually wind up being a little more to the right of this, because the storm has not recurred to the northwest yet. But you can see, or not even north, it's continuing due north-northeast. But you can see that heavy rain over Montauk. That's quite a bit of rain there, and that's going to cause some flooding, freshwater flooding as well. But it's freshwater and not salt water, which I'm sure, is better than salt water, obviously. But you can see that rain, and that heavy rain extends into parts of New York. So the flooding is definitely going to be a concern from the rain from this. If we look at the winds, the wind field on this, you'll see, again, we're not going to really experience much in the way of strong winds in Nassau County now at this track. The wind is really only going to be an issue from east of Riverhead, basically. And that's where you're going to have the stronger winds, and it may not even be a hurricane when it gets here. GFS seems to think it will be. It may be a hurricane, but it's going to be. It's not really. I don't think it's going to get that much stronger than it is now. I really don't. just going to be able to maintain its strength at 75 and then probably become a tropical storm when it actually might make two. If the eye does technically make a landfall in Montauk, then it'll make another landfall in eastern Connecticut or Rhode Island, perhaps. If it's too far east, then the first landfall would be Rhode Island. But you can see that, again, the wind effects, we won't have to deal with any of them on our area, which is very good news. That means we won't have to deal with the power outages in our area. However, out east, there will be, if this does happen, there will be a lot of power outages east of Riverhead, particularly on the South Fork. Will probably get hit very hard with a track like that. All right. Let's now go to the NAM, otherwise known as the NAM, and we'll look at the NAM 12. And we have the 0Z of the NAM 12 in, so we might as well look at it. And track, it doesn't really go out far enough, but the track is, again, east. I'll have to go to the 18Z because I don't have enough of that 0Z in. But you can see the track is to the east of Montauk again. So the eye may not even hit Montauk, but Montauk Point or Montauk itself might get in the eye wall. So this could create some possible flooding concerns if it comes, the closer it comes to Montauk. But the point is, again, that rain. Now the NAM's a lot more generous with the rain, as it always is. And if we look at the NAM and the total accumulated precip, look at that. Wow. Some areas could see a foot of rain, perhaps, or close to a foot of rain out in the middle of the Pine Barrens. That's an insane amount of rain. Well, the ponds are going to love it. If this were to verify, boy, this would really just, the Pine Barrens would be overflowing with water. Whether this actually will verify or not, I don't know. But that's a lot of rain right there. That's a lot of rain. That would really fill it. Again, I wish we could share some of it with the folks in California where they really need it. Where they really need the rain. And every time I think about this, I think, man, if only we could get some of this rain out in the West, that would be great. But there you go. Raining there, quite a bit of rain there, and that could cause some flooding issues as well along the rivers with rain. That's pretty impressive right there. Now, let's go to the NAM and the wind. So the NAM, again, same deal with the wind. I mean, we pretty much have an agreement here. And the wind would be worst out east. And again, it's a little more generous with giving us a little more wind for Nassau. Maybe scattered power outages in the western part of Long Island, but nothing widespread with wind like that. That's not that bad at all. All right. The other model we're going to look at is the HRRR, which has been stubbornly, at least the last time I checked, still tracking this thing to the west. But let's see if the 0Z finally came to its senses of the HRRR. Let's see. It has come to its senses, but it's still tracking the eye right over Montauk. So this solution will be a little worse, but again, for central Suffolk and western Suffolk, Nassau, I still don't think it would be that bad. That solution would certainly be worse. I think you can see what happens on Monday. The moisture gets kind of flung back to the west and then back east again, which is kind of weird. Let's go look at the total accumulated precip on the HRRR and see what it looks like with the rainfall. Every model still has a different, but you can generally see that eastern Long Island is going to see, it could be anywhere from 3 to 5, maybe even as much as 6 to 7 inches of rain in certain spots. And that heavy rain is going to go into Connecticut as well and cause some flooding there too. So the rain is going to be a big story. Maybe it wind up being a bigger story than the wind with this storm, with all the rain it's going to bring, which is going to be quite a bit of rain. Indeed, quite a bit of rain indeed. So once the storm is over, once it moves on out of here, we'll go ahead and look at our temperatures and show you. Obviously tomorrow, the temperatures are going to be quite on the cool side, all right, with the rain and the clouds around from the storm. Monday, we're seeing 70, so it won't really be that hot, but the humidity obviously sticks around. There's no dry air at all with this storm. That's another factor. Usually you get dry air that comes into these storms, but there's no dry air in sight. So again, dry air has a tendency to weaken these storms. And there's another parameter that we can look at actually, which is kind of interesting. And if we look at this parameter, which I was looking at, I was watching the Joe and Joe show, and they actually brought up this parameter. If we can find it here, yeah, 700 to 400. This shows you how much moisture is in the air. All right, so that the darker the green, the more moisture there is. The brown indicates dry air with no rain, no clouds. All right, so you can see where the deep moisture, the deep tropical moisture is going, and you can see it's all on the left side of the storm. So the left side gets all the deep tropical moisture, the right side gets the wind. All right, so the Cape may and they may be getting a lot more of the wind, but eastern Long Island and maybe into central Long Island will be getting more of the rain. I think that's the key. And then as we go into tomorrow, you'll see things start to dry out. You actually have a dry column there. All right, and then this storm moves away, and then we have drier but hot air obviously coming in. All right. If we look at the temperatures here, this along here to tomorrow, you'll see it won't be that warm, but you'll see in Monday it's bringing some more warmth, and that's because Monday it brings the sun out, and obviously by Tuesday we start heating up. If we were to look at the sky cover here, and the NAM is doing this too, you see that there's actually a little break. It's the 18ZG, a little break of sunshine, believe it or not, that might wind up developing over us. And that could bring the temperatures up. The NAM was also showing this. The NAM 18Z run was also showing this as well. That we would break out into the sun, and it might even happen tomorrow too, particularly over eastern Long Island tomorrow, and New England. You could see that dry air, slot of air there, kind of trying to come in a little bit there and bring us some sunshine, perhaps, and still the chance of a shower, obviously, with that kind of moisture around, or a thunderstorm. Let's go and look at the HRRR. Go back to the HRRR. It's yours. So we're going to look at this again and look at this. So as far as the rain goes, and we will go to the NAM again as well, you'll see we'll be dealing with that rain most of the day tomorrow. All right. It might start tapering off after 4 or 5 o'clock. We might see that rain start to end, perhaps, and that's something. Again, sometimes it's always a backside of the storm. Always get that. I don't know, whatever reason, the rain that just doesn't really hang out on the backside of the storm. Here's the NAM 12, and you see a similar idea. This is the 0Z NAM 12 as well, so you can see a similar idea with that rain starting to end as you get later in the day after 5 o'clock or so, starting to end. All right, so you get the idea of where the storm is going to be, where the brunt's going to be. There is another model we could look at, which is the HWRF as well. So this is the HWRF, and this also tracks this east, quite a bit east of Montauk. This tracks now more into New England. And like I said, that's really what it's looking like to me, is that it looks like it's heading more toward New England. And that might shift the axis of the heavy rain away from us as well. You'll have to see the rain when the rain ends. It's very hard to model where the rain is. That's very hard. But generally, the rain is on the west side of the storm, and the east side is where more of the wind is. And that seems to be what's happening here. But the HRRR seems to have it head more toward Rhode Island. So, again, this is becoming more of an issue, I think, for the eastern parts of our area, eastern Long Island. All right. I want to see if they've changed any of these. Let's get the latest briefing here. This was as of 8 p.m. from the hurricane warning continues for eastern Long Island. Tropical storm warning continues for New York City, Nassau, Southwest Connecticut, and Westchester. Storm surge warnings continue for North Queens and the Bronx. What has changed? The tracks has shifted east slightly. I think it's shifting east a little more. I mean, I know they don't want to let your guard down or anything, but I really think the worst part of this is going to be extreme east of our area. The flash flooding, it may be wind up being more of an issue from the rainfall than the wind. And there's also slight tornado potential too as well. All right. And if we look at the map here, and we look at the hurricane warning, the hurricane warning is in effect from Long Island Sound east of the mouth of the Connecticut River, Long Island Sound east of New Haven, Port Jefferson, to the mouth of the Connecticut River, and Peconic and Gardner's Bay, South Shore Bays, from Jones Inlet through Shinnecock Bay. Okay, this is like for the waters. But the hurricane warning still, it looks like nothing has changed. The hurricane warning is still for Suffolk County. That's still up right now from a hurricane warning for much of Suffolk County. Still under. I still believe it is in effect right now. So we still have that hurricane warning in effect for Suffolk County. Again, this is Henri right here. Again, looking at it on the satellite, looking like it's continuing to head right for New England and not be so much of an issue for Long Island. You know, you can look at all the models you want, but all you need to do is look at this, and it kind of tells you everything you need to know. And that is that it looks like to me that this thing is heading for Rhode Island, Cape Cod. That may be the main area that this thing impacts. And that seems to be where it is heading right now. And I think that Long Island, I would not be surprised that the hurricane warning might wind up getting dropped for at least the western part of Suffolk County. And the tropical storm warning might wind up getting dropped for Nassau County or New York City, with this tracking right to the northeast, continuing to track toward the northeast and picking up speed. So you know, it's reaching its closest point to us, and then it's going to start moving away. So this is really racing northeastward. And you look at the satellite. I mean, again, it tells you all you need to know as to where the storm is going, and it's heading more for New England. That's what I'm going to say. All right, just again, continue to prepare. I'm not saying don't act like there's going to be a hurricane tomorrow, but right now the impacts for Long Island are looking less and less and less, especially west of Route 112. If you're east of, say, Riverhead, that's where you're still most likely to see the conditions. And, of course, there's still going to be the rough surf and all the marine effects that you're going to have. But right now, the way it's looking is it looks like it's tracking away from us. I'm not even going to look at any more models because, honestly, this is all I need to show you here, all right? It's moving due northeast. And, again, if we can look at our regular satellite here. Let's go to our regular CONUS satellite here. All right. No, not the CONUS. I'm sorry. The area one. No, we'll just hit this button because I'm lazy. If you look at this, you'll see that even if we can make a turn, which we'll make a turn. Even if we'll make a turn, this center of the storm right here is going more toward New England than the Cape. All right, and that's what I think it's gonna go right through here, and Montauk might catch the western eye wall, but that's as close as it's going to get, I think. And again, this thing is moving faster and faster. It's continuing to move fast. So we'll keep you posted on this whole thing with Henri. But it looks like I think Long Island might have dodged a bullet. At least most of Long Island, except for the east end. That's going to be it for this weather update. Take care. And thanks for watching.